What is your name and where are you from?
My name is Crystal and I am from Baltimore, Maryland. Be more.
I love that. That's so cute. All right, thank you. So,
hmm
when you came to me, like, what was your relationship like before we started working together?
Um, it definitely was up and down. Now, um, I like it was definitely hard for me at times to kind of commute. Like I wasn't always good at communicating things, and there were things like even if like there were things that bothered me, like I kind of kept it like hidden. And just dealt with it on my own and like had that fear like of bringing stuff up, and nothing against him. It was just like my own like communication skills that kind of lacked there. uh I mean, we definitely did have like it was good times like we were having, and um I don't know, it kind of was like a roller coaster, especially because both of us like mentally go through things like on our own, and like bringing it together. Like at first we were like, it felt like it was going really well, but then it like started clashing. And also like I was still going through stuff in my own life, and then finding this great person, I didn't know how to, to like handle it in a relationship. And like especially when there were things that like I said like would bother me. And yeah, it was a roller coaster at times, and we definitely had like good like up moments, but then there were like down moments, and partially my fault.
Yeah, I totally hear that. Okay,
Yeah.
that was great. Thank you. Um,
hmm
the next thing I wanted to ask you was there anything specific? I know you mentioned that, you had communication issues, but was there anything like specific struggling that you guys had? Like, was it just communication or was it like other stuff? I know some people they are struggling with like divorce or something like this. Was there anything specific you guys were having a hard time with?
so I know like um for me, it was just like coming out. Like, I used to have very strong religious views,
Mm.
and like coming out of that, like, of how I was like pretty much trained in a way of living in that religious, you know, group. And so coming out of that, like I didn't really give myself like that time that I needed. And I think individually for me, I would say just given the love that I need for myself and the self-care, and being more gentle on myself. And so, like, already having like stress within myself and then being in a relationship, it became overwhelming. And I hated that because it's just like, here's this great person, but there also was things with him. He had a divorce, and for him, like, coming out of that, like, he wasn't ready for relationship. And like, but here I came, and like, and so, and I wasn't. And it's funny because we both said that we didn't want relationships, and then we ended up finding each other. And so it just, happened. And, at times we wish we did take it a little slower, but at the same time, everything happens for a reason. And now we're at the point that we are happy to be together, is just learning to like still like take things slow and like getting to know one another and work through things rather than working against one another.
Yes, girl. I love that.
Yeah.
You hit it on
And
the head. Like so good. So good.
And like if it wasn't, honestly, I feel like this like you popped up on my Instagram, and I'm like it was like a ad that like it was something that came up on there, and it came just I felt like I wish it came a little sooner in my relationship.
Yeah.
Because especially like the patterns that I would have, and situations I feel like that I put myself in, that unintentionally like hurt him, and then there's times he unintentionally hurt me, and
Mm-hmm.
we were not continuously, but there were definitely big moments of us hurting one another
Mm-hmm.
unintentionally, but like, and it's like navigating through that. But I'm very grateful that I found you. And even there's times that he would be like, I feel like this group, like, well, not group, but that, you know, you're helping me. Like, and he notices a difference of how I am after each call.
Hey, see,
Yeah.
that's so
And just
good.
seeing perspective on certain things definitely helps a lot.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so what made you say yes to me as opposed to like just like seeing what I was doing and like trying to find a different coach? Like what made this the decision you wanted to make?
So there's times I went to therapy even throughout my life, like, and it didn't really stick. It didn't really help. Um, and I don't like when I came across and I saw about relationship and like I was just seeing like I would when I saw your thing pop up, I went through some of your posts and I was seeing like the perspectives you were getting, and one that stood out to me was about like how you dress for your man. And I definitely agree with that, that like, some girls may nothing, not judging anyone, everyone's going to make their own choice and everyone's going to have different opinions relationship wise and whatever works for them. But I definitely agree with the fact that like if a man doesn't want you exposing like certain body parts or showing off your figure so much to like the world, it's not the fact that he's trying to control you, is just that like knowing that it's at a like the woman just respecting like their man, and like knowing that that's just for him, and it's not for the whole world to see. And it's not saying that, even as me, like I love fashion, I love like not I just love like showing off like my outfits and stuff, but not to a point that I'm like trying to be like, oh, I want him to like look at me or any of that, like another person.
Mhm.
But knowing that I have a sense of fashion, but also knowing to how to be reserved in a sense to where like I'm still respecting my man, and like knowing that I don't need to have like everything hanging out.
Yeah.
Like um and that's one of the things that like, so when you had mentioned about like clothing and how to dress, like, and I'm like, wow, that like I get that.
Hmm.
And so a lot, so that's one thing that definitely stuck out with me and like just relationship. And I'm just like there, and I'm just glad that you reached out to me, for us to do this. And there was times, I'll be honest, like, 'cause it takes me a while to like get comfortable and like knowing if it's legit, and not saying that you're not, 'cause you are legit.
Thank
Um,
you.
anyone, like it's normal, especially in today's world, you just don't know how things are gonna be and
Mhm.
how legit things are, but you are like legit, and yeah.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that because, yeah, you're right. A lot of people, they're just like, are you a bot or are you going to scam me? And
Hmm.
I'm like,
Right.
"Hey, girl,
Yeah.
like that's not how this goes." But I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah.
Okay. And that leads me into my next question. Was there anything that like almost prevented you from signing up?
I would say like you like just my trustworthiness in people, and
Yeah.
not knowing if this, like, I was just like, I don't know how I feel about this, and giving out my information and just like, about my life.
Mhm.
And like, you're putting your trust in someone like you just met. And so like it definitely is scary of the
Yeah.
unknown. But like, even, there's a time that I even talked to him about, he was just like, no, like, just go for it and see. And like it helped give me confidence too. Like, all right, let me give this a try. Don't allow my fear like to take over. And if it's not legit, then like whatever happens, happens. But yeah, that it was that fear of the unknown and whether or not I was trustworthy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay. So what made you pull the trigger then? Because you're like, I don't know if I trust this lady, or I don't know if it's something else. Like, what made you pull the trigger?
Mm, I think I don't know if it was the same time that I had this fortune. It sounds crazy, but I had this fortune cookie, but I don't know if it was around that same time. But it said something about, because like the timing of this, I had 12 weeks, and my last thing was in November, and it said something about embrace change gracefully in November. And I'm like, I don't know if it was like around that same, I felt like it was around that same time, but like also, I just like, I feel like it came at the time that it needed to come. This,
Gotcha.
this, this moment like had to come at the time that it did.
Yeah.
And, and then after a while, I'm like, wow, like this is really good. Every time we got, and I remember I believe it was our first session that when we were talking about alcohol and everything, because like, I I will say sometimes like not to where I was ever drinking it every day, but it was more like weekends and you know, kind of like I would say at times it was like more of filling a void. And so I never forget what you told me about alcohol, like legit, like kills your brain cells. And I'm like, dang, I don't want my brain cells killed. And like, it really
Yeah.
stuck with me that, like, I mean, yeah, I'll drink here and there, like, for fun and stuff, but like, I really have put that into thought that, like, that's something I do not want to put on my body because I like to have my brain cells working functionally.
Yeah.
And that definitely was really nice. And like even with our first session, and then it might have been the second session, just like the perspectives you would give, like really like there would be things that you say, and I know I have notes and notes on it, and just like it would just stick with me. And it really does help. And people don't realize that even outside of religion, there's ways to get help and also ways to like get through things without that.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. Well, thank you. All right. So now we're going to move on to the part two, which is like, we're going to think about how you were and how things were during our time. Okay.
Okay.
So what have been your biggest takeaways so far? And it's okay to get specific. In fact, it's probably a good idea. If there's anything you remember specifically that has stuck with you or that you use consistently, anything that you want to bring up, what are the biggest things you've taken away from this so far?
Yeah. So one thing that definitely, and it was more of our one of our recent um sessions was that my emotions are nobody else's responsibility. And like, oh my gosh, that's been a game changer. I'm not even lying because like now when I'm in situations, even with Wade or like, and even with my mom, because like I remember you bringing up something like a situation about like with a parent and how, in the moment of like, having like a disagreement or argument and then realizing what they're saying and listening to them because they're trying to get a point across that makes them upset. And so I'm kind of going off the a little bit of being path, but that's something that stuck out with me too. But like even other people's emotions, yeah, they're not our responsibility, but like making sure you're here, know someone's heard. But anyway, with the um my emotions, because I can be a very emotional person and there's certain things that can heighten that. And so, like, but now I'm at a point that knowing that someone's not responsible for my emotions is knowing the fact that if there's a situation that upsets me or I feel like upsetting meaning angry or sad, like any of it, I can step away without having to react to a person. And And so I'm trying to think of a specific example, but I feel like even more recent now, like if like I feel upset about something that maybe he says, or like I try to approach it in a more calmer sense rather than like getting upset
Yeah.
and like taking it personal.
Mm-hmm.
And that really does help because it because when emotions are so high, it takes away that clarity of what's going on in the situation. And
Yes.
so, like, I'm not able to comprehend of what actually is going on when I'm allowing my emotions to take over. And I'll never forget too, another thing that stuck out now think about is like, I remember you said of not allowing my thoughts to um, allow them to control me to a sense that like, it's like those negative thoughts control me because I was sitting at work. It might have been a few days ago or last week. And like I just felt like in that day, I just felt really just like out of it, like overwhelmed, like I don't know, just something just didn't feel right. And I'm like, and I never, and then it stuck with me what you said about not allowing those like thoughts or feelings to like allow them to navigate me and take that control back and not allowing that all that to navigate me on how I do it. And like even in those moments too, as humans, like you gotta sit in however you're feeling. And that was actually one of our first or second calls too, where you mentioned about um accepting yourself as you are in that moment without judgment.
Yeah.
And without judging yourself. And like, and that really helps because like me, I like, the saying, you're your own worst critic. But now being able to just sit with myself and like, all right, I feel this, but it's okay to feel whatever you're feeling. Feelings aren't always facts. That was something you mentioned as well. Isn't always facts, but it's okay to sit in that and like figure it out for yourself and like and give yourself therapy before like reacting to someone else. And a lot of times people like if they come off a certain way, like it's not always personal. You never know what's going on in their life.
Yeah, girl.
Um, I know I'm definitely I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot. Oh, and another one was the hooking to
Ah,
unhook myself from like, all right, here's me and Wade, we're together, but like knowing that we're each our own person, that like I can't depend because I definitely am I can be a codependent person and that's unhealthy. And I'm learning to, like you said, to unhook myself from him because like I'm my own person and allowing him to do him, allowing me to do me, and like we come together in that. And man, I've learned a lot, and I felt like there's something else that's like in my mind, like I think it was the acceptance, like no accepting someone as they are, accepting myself as I am, and like without judgment. Like that's what it was, acceptance without judgment, because there's gonna be times, even with Lee, like or I do something or he does something or says something or it could be like in a moment of being stressed out or whatever it is, and like but not judging him for whatever he has going on. And like it could be because sometimes with work, even this past weekend, he was very busy with work and
mm,
he seemed to be lashing out a
mm,
lot more. And so learning to like accept that, like knowing that he has a lot going on and he's not lashing out on me personally. It's the fact that like of whatever's going to work, because he eventually said like it's work has been stressing me, and he didn't mean to like take out anything on me. And
mm,
like knowing that like I don't need to judge this because we're all human, we all have our down days. And knowing that, and that's one thing I come back to, is that knowing that I'm not perfect and I've probably been in similar situations as him where I've lashed out on people. And
Mm,
so putting in that perspective, knowing that, I've done the same thing and not be hypocritical about it and give him such a hard time about it. And but yeah, I've definitely learned so much, and there's probably so much more that'll come up in my mind. But definitely acceptance, the unhook, like I've learned so much with that, and having control over myself and my body. Um, like even with my diet, I still, eat my yogurt every day with berries at work. Like I definitely incorporate that. Stay hydrated. Um, I still like I definitely have my ups and downs with um fast food still, but I'm learning, okay, like I know this economy right now is like crazy. So, I'm doing the best that I can in this moment, but I'm
hmm.
just really glad that like I'm learning that like even if I do like may not eat the best at times, like not being so hard on myself about it and like picking myself back up that next day and like know that I can make a difference on it and not being hard on myself about it. 'Cause I definitely would be hard on myself about it a lot, but knowing like, all right, sorry, Crystal, we're gonna get back on track with
Yeah.
doing stuff. And but yeah, definitely that yogurt and berries and staying hydrated with water like has definitely made a difference on my skin. 'Cause like even last week, like I didn't really eat yogurt and berries that much, like coming back from vacation and stuff. But like I started again this week again, and I could just in like 2 days, like my face feels plumped again. And
Right.
like I can notice a difference in it.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, like, and even like I just feel like even like another one was hyper focus, like of not being so like, 'cause like my mind, like especially being in a relationship, will tend to like think about that person a lot. And like knowing that I don't have to be like I like that word, hyper focused on that person, and like transforming my mind to like think of like hyper focus on myself. um
Yeah.
and just like, and I've definitely have done so much better like with just like focusing on myself and my self-care and like being gentle on myself and doing what I need to get done. And I've been doing so much more of that. And like I even noticed a difference in my relationship to where like it feels like he's like it feels like, I don't know, a good shift. Like knowing I'm taking care of myself, but honest intentionally doing it for myself and not like and letting him, not let, but you get what I'm saying, like where he does his own thing, I do my own thing, and then we come together and like whenever we do, but like each of us having our own individuality is so important. You have to be able to be okay with yourself, and loving yourself and being gentle on yourself before like the love that you give yourself, you'll know what you want out of a partner. And so like, and even if there's times like you meet a person you really like and you want that to work out, communication and um whatever, really those boundaries are like really important. And there are, I do believe, and I know we talked about this before, when in a relationship there are going to be rules, and like it's figuring out that together. And it's not like, you know nothing crazy, but like there are a set of things, like that's the whole point of being in a relationship, is that you're gonna be with your best friend, and but like you're together romantically, there's gonna be like whatever works but like best for you and that person, because it's not the same when you're single. You're not a single person anymore.
Yeah.
So it is different, like and so, but it's a good different because like honestly, I don't think I like would want to do and like do life without him because like we just like love going on adventures, nature walks and amusement parks and all that. And I feel like we're so much alike and at times that's what makes us clash at times
Hmm.
because we both have those things that we need to work on mentally, and that sometimes it gets the best of both of us and like it kind of feeds off of each other, and that's something that like is still in a work in progress of
Hmm.
not feeding off of each other's like insecurities and helping each other like how we did when we first like the first few weeks of us being together,
Yeah.
like of just like not feeding into each other's insecurities and help each other grow.
Love that.
Yeah.
Yes. That's so good. Yeah. And I have every confidence that you guys will absolutely be able to
Yeah.
do that. Like you see that pattern. So
Yeah.
it's just a matter of like sometimes you got to pick your battles. Sometimes it's like, okay, well, what are we going to work on
That,
right now? Are we going to work on this? Are we going to work on this? You know what I mean?
yeah.
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 Okay.
And giving each other grace during all of that, like, is so important because we only can do so much as a human being that, like, being harsh on one another ain't gonna, like, help anything.
Oh, straight facts, girl. Yes.
That's only gonna make things worse because how can you, like, be able to, like, be, like, your calm, confident self if you have that person working against you?
Yes.
Wow, I'm giving myself advice.
Yes, girl. This is
Oh my
good.
gosh.
See?
See what this has done? Like you have helped me get this perspective.
Oh, I'm so happy
Oh
for
my
you. Like
God.
legit. You're so good. Oh. Okay, so now we're in the last section, and this is basically going to be like we're just gonna like wrap it up. You've talked about a bunch of stuff already, so that's good.
Yeah.
So feel free if there's anything more that can answer these questions, by all means, come in with
Okay.
that. So,
Yeah.
first question here is, where's your relationship now that we're done? Now that you've been through the whole program and everything has, you've gotten all the jazz here. How's your relationship at this point?
Our relationship right now is actually pretty good. Um, like we definitely are navigating things a lot better than what we have before. Those emotions in me still come up and they still come up in him. But learning, like, even after those, like, situations happen with our emotions and we clash, like, it's not as much as it was, but, like, if those situations do happen, like, it'll, we work through it and we apologize, whatever needs to be done to resolve it and be able to move forward from it and, like, just, like, be our normal selves after it instead of dwelling on it. And that was one of the things that I would do a lot is like dwell on like a problem that had happened and it would be hard for me to get over and let go of. But now I'm like learning to help. I mean, I'm learning to not do that and like, all right, these situations do happen, but like being able to talk it out and actually my communication has gotten a lot better and like addressing things that do bother me and us talking through it and then like we move forward from it and and notice that like sometimes things do come out that are hurtful
Hmm.
and it's like dang like that hurts but then like it's but learning to like not associate like knowing that this doesn't define each of us as a person and like separating that really does help
Yeah.
um And so, but right now, I feel like we're doing pretty good because, like, I mean, we've been joking around a lot more. And I don't know, just me being calmer in
Yeah.
situations and just like accepting things for how they are and accepting him as he is and how I am. And just like not allowing like the little things to get to me as they would before and just letting it go and knowing that this is a person that I want to be with. Like we gotta like like move past these things And like if there are things that are like really issues, just talk about it. And I even mentioned that, a few days ago, like it's not me arguing, it's me talking to you. And so,
Yes. So
and
good.
communicating and just like this, because I don't want him to think like I'm arguing about it, because there have been times that it would just end up being like me arguing about it. And
Mhm.
so, but we definitely have like we're doing better than we have a deal, especially because like I feel like sometimes when two people like are together and like two people are like happy with one another, that there's gonna be moments that like things in the world or whatever like try to bring you down and try to work against you, but knowing that you can be stronger through it, and like knowing that each of you are your own individual person and you have your own things that you fight with personally, that it just like, giving them that space to go through whatever they have going through. And like, and that's another thing too, is like me being able to like give that space. And
Yeah.
I wanna, and even like recently, like with him being overwhelmed with work and everything, I said if there's ever a time like you need space and like don't feel like talking or whatever it is, just tell me and like I'll give you your space.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
good. I love that. And you've grown
Yeah.
so much in that arena. That's amazing.
Yeah. It
Remember.
feels amazing. And like I said, what you mentioned about not allowing, no, my emotions not being anyone else's responsibility and not putting that on someone else, like makes all the difference.
Good.
And I even mentioned that to him too, like of how like, and I like talked to him about what you had said with that, and I'm like, it makes a huge difference.
That's amazing. And
Yeah.
so what did he say? Do you remember?
Um, I can't. I remember him. He was sitting here and like I don't know. I don't remember
Okay.
what he said, but like he was like, he was more like listening to what I'm saying about
Oh,
it,
okay.
and he
Mm-hmm.
could tell like how it was like making a difference, and impact on me. Yeah.
Good. That's awesome. I'm glad that he
Yeah.
notices too. Like that means he's
Yeah.
paying attention. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Okay. So my next question here, this one, I want you to try to get like specific on this one. And this one is, what internal mindset shifts have you made since we started working together? So we've got examples like self-criticism, overcoming fear, perfectionism, different perspectives, overcoming the BS thoughts that are in your head and the fears. What kinds of mindset shifts specifically have you um, gotten?
Um, hmm. I would definitely say like like not being so hard on myself about things.
Mm,
And like I feel like that before, like even like being in relation stuff, like I would like overthink everything and like of what I'm doing, how I'm acting,
yeah.
in it and stuff. But knowing that like we're here to work together, and work through it together. And I like the perspective what you gave of just like of us not being together and being together, of like, what would be different, in that aspect. And of course, like there's certain things like you wouldn't do, like I wouldn't do like in a relationship, but knowing that like I can still be my own individual self. Um, I'm trying to think like of a specific example. um, I know I mentioned about like with work recently and not allowing my emotions to get the best of me, because I was just sitting in my desk and I'm just like I felt like I was fighting something like going on emotionally, mentally in my head. Like I just felt like so overwhelmed. Like I
Mm,
just didn't feel like myself.
yeah.
And I'm like, I can't allow like this to allow this to navigate me and control me.
Yeah.
Um, and hmm, so I would say for sure, like with like, with my diet and everything, just now I remember I can't remember exactly what was said, but it was more of like even when there's times that even if I don't follow exactly like whatever that diet is, to not be so hard on myself about it and like pick myself back up. Like for example, if like I have fast food like one day, or if I like had like a few coffees or something, um, in one day, like not be so hard on myself, and just knowing that like, come out of that like boo-hoo, like poor me,
Yeah.
the victim mindset. I definitely have came out of that a lot,
Mm.
where I just like go in that like poor me, I don't know, I guess like, just like making it about like just wallowing in my sorrows so much, because that's not gonna really make a difference on things. And um kind of picking myself up from that, and just um and also like what you mentioned about like just doing instead of uh, what was it? It was just like we as humans, we're like so hard on ourselves, to where like we don't like we make things a lot more complicated, and we just need to just go out and do whatever it is we need to do. And hmm, I would say for sure like with like the way like my diet is and stuff, I like with even like eating my snack, my yogurt with berries.
Hmm.
Like there's times that was literally today, like I'm just like, oh, I don't feel like going to make it. Like I don't like I
Mm.
laziness was kicking in. But I'm
Mhm.
like, no, Crystal, let's stay on top of it. Just do it.
Yeah.
And after I had it, I felt so more refreshed from it. And also that ties in with self-care, just because like even being in my relationship with him, making sure I'm taking care of myself. Because like I definitely specifically know that I have been taking better care like of my own mentality, aside from, him,
Yeah.
and like putting myself as a priority, and not depending on him for that happiness, or like say there's something I need to like know on my I want to get to know me again more, and like what makes brings out my confidence, and
Yeah.
not depending on that from someone else, because I've done that a lot.
Hmm.
And bringing back of my own sense of individuality,
Yeah.
like I don't know, just my own confidence, bringing my own confidence back. And I feel like this has helped a lot, and has given me tools, and like has like just really helped navigate me into like certain mind, like the mind shift I would say is that like whenever there's a situation that comes up, I think of like something that you say and or you had said to me, the acceptance, or no, don't judge, and or unhooking. Those things come up in my mind, and even though there's times I still fall into my old like path, um I next day or whatever it is, I'll come out of it like. And it's all about a work in progress. One thing I would say is that everything is a work in progress, to where like nobody, no matter, like you could slip into like that old pattern for a day or two, but like no, don't beat yourself up about it, and just learn from it, and like and set aside time for yourself to like figure out like what's going on before like reacting and responding to things. And like even if there's times that like my emotions are high, and even saying it now, that like I can give my like, even if I have to tell them, look, I need, my emotions are really high right now, I need time for myself. And that um like I would feel like would be a game changer, at least like communicating that is really important. Yeah.
Yeah, girl. That's awesome. Yeah. Okay. So we just got a couple more here. How was your experience like just in general? So like the structure, me as a coach, what you learned, how was your experience in general?
My experience has been awesome, and I wish it was content. Well, I know like you're still here. I wish I could do this like almost every week. And I like overall, it's been awesome. Like I have gained so much knowledge from you. And like, and the fact that like anything I pretty much like come to you about, you have an answer for. And like, there's times that I'm like, throughout the day, I'm like, hey girl, I need advice. And you're like right there. And that's so awesome. And it's not only like you being a life coach, like you became a good friend of mine now, and I'm just like really grateful for that, and just like knowing that you got my back no matter what, and just like you're looking out to help people and like wanting them to be happy with themselves and in their relationship, and that knowing that those situations, because people think like they're down in the dumps, and I love that you're, even when I saw your thing, like people can be down in dumps in their relationship and think nothing's possible to save this, but like the insight that you give to help people, that things are possible to change. And also I love the fact that even when you first started, like, is this something where you want to save it, or is there something you're guiding towards like being with yourself? And like, because there are situations where it just doesn't work out, but you're still there to help navigate that person through that. And like, and it's not, and it doesn't feel like force. There's no like forceful interaction. It just feels like everything flows, and like you just feel like a really good friend.
Oh, yay. Well, thank you. That was such a good one.
Absolutely. For real. Like it's, and I'm really grateful for you as like being a life coach, and like just the insight you have given, and like now that I can even use that as like testimony like towards others, and like being able to help others, and because of what you have mentioned to me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really exciting for me. Like, I know, like being the coach, it's nice to be able to help the people who are here, but I love the fact that my ladies make such good progress that their testimonies help other women. Like you are going to help somebody. Like
Yeah.
this whole thing is going to help somebody be like, "Oh man, like maybe this is right for me." And they'll have that experience and they'll get to do what you got to do. It's I'm so
And
happy that
like
you get to
it
do
kind
that.
of makes me tear up just because like knowing that, just for every girl to know that like, and even every guy to know that like you as a person, like you're human, and like we're all going to make mistakes one way or another, to not be so hard on ourselves, and just to give each other love where it's needed to be. And like that's what we need more of, especially in today's world. Like it's just been so chaotic. And also, oh my gosh, I just thought about it too, of what we talked about before, like with the foods that are out there, and like how it affects us, and
Mhm.
like how the world has been lately. It's really not those people as a person anymore, because of like these foods, these drugs, the alcohol, all of it
Yeah,
affects people's moods. All of the fast food, everything out in this world just affects people's brains, and
yeah,
it's making people more more chaotic. And it's like right now we really need to like find, like, to help people to where like you don't need that stuff. And like, I mean, that there's ways to life of loving one another.
my girl.
Yeah.
Love that. I'm glad you mentioned that too, because you're absolutely right. Food 100% affects everything. And if you're not getting the right nutrition, your relationship suffers because you are suffering. Just like we talked about. Like
Yeah.
it's such a
Yeah,
key
and like
element.
it just puts in a damper, and like, it's not only like it brings on depression, anxieties, and just like mental disorders, and like all of it. And no wonder people are going crazy in this world right now.
I know. That's
And
for
just
real.
knowing that food makes you like eating the right foods and getting the right nutrition in your body really does make a difference. I feel a difference. I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
And shift
Mm.
in your mind, which you've really helped me.
Yeah, girl. Okay. So we got like two more left, three more left. This one is on a scale of 1 to 10. How satisfied are you with the program?
I would say a 10.
Okay.
Yeah, because like without it, I wouldn't have the knowledge that I do today.
Love it.
And it's definitely worth it for sure.
That's good to know.
It's worth it for sure.
Okay. So that leads me into my last question here. If someone was considering working with me, what would you tell them?
If they were considering, I wouldn't even put it as a consider, just do it. And like, especially because like, I mean, I get like financially sometimes it can be hard to meet, but I love that you're able to work with people of whatever they're able to contribute each month or whatever they can financially do.
Hmm.
But like, honestly, like, if you have like an account or something you're paying once a month, just put that towards this, like for your next 12 weeks, because like the shift in mind and like the way, like, and even like if people are going through like a hard time in that moment, like you're able to help them navigate of whatever is going on in their mind and like help give that common sense. Like, I would just tell someone, just try it out, and don't give up. Like, you get to your first or second week, you might feel like, because like that's normal human, you might feel like, I don't know for sure, like feel hesitant about it, but just keep doing it. It's a 1 hour for 12 weeks. Like, it's worth it. it like it really helps give a perspective, and at the end of the day you're going to make your own choice, but knowing that you have this knowledge that you didn't have before, and it's positive knowledge over negative knowledge, because like there's so much negative things out in this world and on social media, that you can get better knowledge and positive stuff from doing this.
That's awesome. Thank you. That was so good. Okay.
It's
And the last thing, oh, thank you. The last thing was just, is there anything else you want to add in any capacity? Is there anything else you wanted to say?
sorry, it cut out. My I had a call come through, but I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. Is there anything else you want to add? Is there anything else you want to say?
Man, I'm just thank you. Like, time has went by so fast.
Yeah.
Um, and like honestly, I feel like this is definitely like a gift from God, just because like knowing that, um, like even with that fortune thing I told you about,
Yeah.
like I feel like this all kind of play like embrace change gracefully in November. And the fact that like this has helped me. It's November. My birthday is in 10 days. I turned 31 in 10 days. My relationship is going good. Like, I'm learning things, even though like there's things that come up, like even recently, that like are very important in it that had happened, but we talked through it. And like, but being able to like have the knowledge that I have from this has like really helped me, um yeah, it's helped me a lot. And I really appreciate you like doing this, because like, oh my God, see, I'm an emotional person. um like, it really has helped giving me perspectives that I didn't have,
Oh, girl.
and I think I really needed it.
Oh, you're so welcome.
Thank
Oh,
you,
God.
like for real. Oh my gosh, like, it's all good. So laughter is one thing like I tend to just let out no matter, like, oh my gosh. Oh,
It's so good. So good. Ah, okay. That was